My friend Tyler and I had been inseparable since the 4th grade. We bonded over video games, baseball, and a mutual dislike for math homework. We practically grew up in each other's houses, with his place always having the better snacks and a bigger TV. I had known his mom, Mrs. Whittaker, Laura, for years. She was kind, always made sure we were fed, and had a warm, caring demeanor that reminded me a bit of my own mother before she moved to Arizona after the divorce. It was early July when Tyler told me he was heading to Florida with his dad for 2 weeks. They were doing a road trip to visit his cousins and check out Universal Studios. I was a little bummed. Summer break was always more fun with Tyler around, but I understood. Everyone needed a getaway. What I didn't expect was getting a text from Laura 2 days later. "Hey Jacob, I know Tyler's out of town, but I could use a hand around the house if you're free. Just little stuff, moving some boxes, setting up the grill. I'll make lunch. No pressure." I hesitated. It wasn't weird, exactly, but it wasn't something that had happened before. Still, I liked helping people, and if she really needed it, I didn't mind. I texted back, "Sure, what time?" She responded instantly. "Around 11? And bring your appetite." That Saturday morning, I walked the familiar 3 blocks to the Whittaker's place. Laura opened the door wearing a bright yellow sundress, her blonde hair pulled back in a bun. She smiled the way she always did, warm and welcoming. "Jacob, thank you for coming. You're a lifesaver," she said, stepping aside so I could come in. The living room looked the same, though there were a couple of storage boxes by the hallway I hadn't noticed before. "Hey, Mrs. Whittaker. What do you need help with?" "Call me Laura," she said. "You're not a kid anymore." That caught me off guard. Sure, I was 19 now and in college, but Laura had always called me sweetie or kiddo or Jacob. Being on a first-name basis felt strangely formal. She pointed to the boxes. "Just need help moving these to the garage. And later I was going to try setting up that new grill." "Have you used one before?" "A couple times," I said. "With my uncle last 4th of July. "Perfect. I'll make some lemonade." It didn't take long to move the boxes. They weren't very heavy, mostly decorations, old photo albums, things she was organizing. By noon, we were out in the backyard, unboxing the grill. It was hotter than I expected, and I took off my hoodie, already sweating through my t-shirt. "You doing okay?" she asked, handing me a glass of cold lemonade. "Yeah, just didn't expect it to be this hot today." "Well, you've earned a break. Come inside, cool off." We went back in, and she started making sandwiches. The kitchen smelled like toasted bread and fresh-cut tomatoes. It felt oddly peaceful. The house was quiet without Tyler's usual music or the sound of the TV. I realized I had never really spent time alone with Laura before, and without the usual energy of my friend around, she seemed like a totally different person, more relaxed, almost wistful. She looked at me thoughtfully. "It's been kind of lonely without Tyler. He usually fills up the house with noise." "Yeah, I get that," I said. "It's quieter at my place now too. My dad's working late a lot." We sat at the table and ate. The food was simple, but good. Ham and cheese with spicy mustard, fresh watermelon, and a handful of chips. She poured more lemonade and asked how college was going. "It's all right," I said. "Still trying to figure out what I want to do. I'm leaning toward graphic design." "That's great. You always were artistic. I still have that drawing you did for Tyler's birthday in the 3rd grade." I laughed. "That dragon with the googly eyes? I'm surprised you kept it. I keep everything. I'm sentimental that way." After lunch, we finished setting up the grill and tested it out with some frozen burgers she had in the freezer. As the day went on, conversation came easier. We talked about music, books, even old movies. I found myself relaxing, enjoying the unexpected company. Before I left, she handed me a small container. "Take some burgers home for dinner." "Thanks," I said. "Let me know if you need more help this week." She looked pleased. "Actually, yes. If you're free on Wednesday, I could use some help trimming the hedge out front. It's gotten wild." "I'll be here," I said. And I was. That next week, I went over 3 times. Once to help with the yard, once to fix a leaky faucet, and once just to hang out and have lunch again. It was easy. Comfortable. Laura had a calming presence, and I found myself opening up to her more than I expected. One afternoon, I came over to find her in the middle of rearranging the living room. She looked flustered. "I bit off more than I can chew," she said. "Thought I could move the sofa myself." "Let me do it," I said. While I moved furniture, she sat nearby and told me stories from when she was my age. About college, her first job, meeting Tyler's dad. There was a bittersweet tone to her voice when she talked about the divorce. It hadn't been easy on her. Or on Tyler. "You know," she said quietly, "it's nice having someone to talk to. Someone who listens." I didn't know what to say, but I nodded. "Same here." That Friday, she surprised me with a small thank you gift, a sketchbook and a set of pencils. "I know it's nothing fancy," she said, "but I thought of you when I saw it." I was touched. "Thank you. That means a lot." The rest of the week flew by. We watched old movies one night. She introduced me to a black and white film from the 60s. It was surprisingly good. We laughed, we talked, and sometimes we sat in silence, which didn't feel awkward. It felt peaceful. Tyler returned on Sunday. He texted me right away. "Bro, Florida was lit. Got sunburned like crazy though. Hanging out tomorrow?" "Yeah, man. Welcome back." I didn't mention I had been hanging out with his mom all week. Not because I was hiding anything, but because it felt like something private. Like it was separate from our friendship, its own little summer chapter. When I did eventually go over to see Tyler, everything went back to normal. We played games, talked about his trip, ate pizza. Laura waved hello from the kitchen, but she didn't say much. Just a smile. Later that week, she texted me. "Thanks again for everything last week. It meant more than you know." I sat with that message for a while before replying. "I'm glad I could help. It meant a lot to me too." Summer ended, and I went back to college. Tyler and I stayed close, but life moved on. I didn't see Laura as often after that. Just during holidays or quick visits. But whenever I did, we shared a knowing smile, a quiet acknowledgement of that brief time we spent when the house was quiet, the grill was new, and we were just two people, a generation apart, finding comfort in unexpected company. It wasn't a love story. It wasn't drama or scandal. It was just real. A reminder that sometimes, the people we least expect can make the biggest impact, and that kindness, attention, and time shared can be more meaningful than we ever anticipate.